It's like this. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A little more aggressive speed with the pivot. You're just speeding up that pendulum. Big wind up. Hey, now that's the future.
I caught the wrist on that.
Hit it on the button. Still in the air. All right, Walt, you got that one all the way out to 225. Yeah, with the face angle was 0 degrees, the launch direction was 0 degrees, and the spin axis was 0 degrees. So the ball essentially just flew on a clothesline out to 225 yards. All right, so last time we talked about revisiting the chair drill, so in the bucket and chair. So we're going way back a few years here.
Yeah.
To this one with the full bucket. So remember, this was a great exercise using the chair, and let me demonstrate it, and then why don't you face me here. So we've got our chair, going to stand in the middle of it, let this hang with a relaxed left arm. A bucket of water would work good at home too. So you can do this at home and not just be on the range. Now I'm going to kind of lock in my left arm, so the motion, you're not trying to swing the left arm at all, but rather you're getting the left arm to move based on the engine and turning the wheel. So here we're going to go, and right post, left post, right post, left post. And the missing piece for you in general is the letting the torso respond by winding and then unwinding and opening. So one thing that you tend to underdo is that part. And so you start really little, and so that and overcomes the inertia. Kick the knee in, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you just count a waltz count, and you feel the arm doing nothing except getting pulled out of the socket by the weight of the bucket. And you're just really working your knees and your feet, but keep the swings really, really modest, especially at first. And this way you can actually practice for the chips and pitches. So hook that arm, make your feet narrower. Okay, and walk to your right about 4 inches to center yourself on the chair. Okay, now start just knee to knee, real small. So the head will stay steady. Don't let the arm come off at all. Just, it's the winding and unwinding of the torso that advances the bucket. That's great. Let that back foot roll inside a little bit more. Just like you're rolling in the back foot, let the front foot roll in on the way there. And that brings the knee more to the center. Left knee center, right knee center. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're going post to post with your hip, and let the torso rotate. Nice. And rest for a second. All right, let's show everybody this exercise from the face on. Make your feet even narrower. Good. And small swings first. Build it up later. But just knee to knee. Roll the left foot inside, post the right hip. Roll the right foot inside, post the left hip. The head stays between the feet. This is causing the torso to wind and unwind. We're not trying to do anything with the arm except keep it pinned across the chest. There we go. And we get a rhythm established. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Now the next thing you would do, and again, we're kind of reestablishing the fundamentals of the pivot here, because you've lost some of your consistency in doing this. Now let's do the same exact exercise. So hook your left arm again. No wrist at all. No wrist, just put the club down where the ball would be and get this thumb on the grip like that. Now, if you do this right, The club's only going to move about an hour in each direction. So take your bow a little bit more. Take a bow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you're just stepping and stepping. So don't try to pull with the arm at all. Keep that arm. In fact, I'd love to see you start over and pull the arm a little more across the pec muscle, on top of the pec. Like this. See how I'm over? Yes, get it in front of the pec muscle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Left foot, right foot. Left foot in, left knee in to the center more. Left, there we go. Left knee center, more center. Kick it over, there. Really effective weight shift here. Your spine is now a wrecking ball. Beautiful. To this motion, we can add arm swing for the wind up and wrist cock. Okay, so now let's do this. Feeling like you're doing the same motion. And again, you're just going to swing from here to here. So you're not going to feel like there's any wrist really. You're just going to feel like you're now repeating the same thing, but now 2 hands on the club. So don't pull the club back at all. Go ahead and bow a little bit more with the butt sticking out. Okay, we need a little bit more angle, so stay there. And I'm going to back this up, and I want you to butt behind you more and feel more of a deeper bow. You're still a little too there. That's nice. Now, see, all I'm looking for is that swing right there, and I'll pitch the ball, no effort. Beautiful. That's dead on line, huh? So we're just returning back to the basics here, and we're going to be shooting for the center flag. Let's leave these balls here, and that's the feel of the backswing and the follow through. Right thumb on. Now, let the body do all the work and let it swing the torso, and no arms or wrists. Excellent motion. Try again. All right, so we're getting back to a solid pivot. Get your thumb on, practice that. And it's just right knee and left knee. It's a waltz. Right knee, left knee. That's great, Walt. Really clean contact. And relative to the size of the swing and the look of the effort, the ball went a hell of a long way at impact. So let's make sure that we're following through, more like this. Here, let's put the club down at address and show me that sharper angle, even more. Stick the butt out more and bend a little more. You're still a little on the tall side, a little more. Okay, now let's leapfrog in front of it. And so you've done a couple where the toe is done that a little. So let's come on around and finish like that. In rhythm, left knee and right knee. Left knee and right knee. Okay, that had a little too much slug to it. So remember, the bucket swing was effortless. It was all body, all torso, no hands, no arms, no wrists, and super good. So just have a little closed club face to hook it again. But here we're getting clean contact,
Right.
centered, square, solid contact. We're getting more speed than effort.
Right.
So the speed and the distance, I mean, you're hitting those 65 yards in the air, except it's just a little baby swing here.
Yeah.
So again, you're utilizing this, causing the torso to turn. It's acting like a wrecking ball and really boosting the speed. That's super. And then left knee, right knee, super. Really good motion. Here, the good news is they're not slicing. They're coming nicely unplaned from the inside. Okay, nope, thumbs off. Now, and, right, beautiful. Very efficient looking motion there. Let's go back to our bucket drill one more time. Go ahead and grab that with the left arm and hook the pec. Now, let's narrow up the feet a lot more. Okay, let's get more really straight back, bow, butt behind you more. Great. Okay, right there. If you don't bow enough, you can see how the bucket would come too close to your knees. You see how it's a little too close to your knees because you're standing a little too straight up and down. So we need a little bit more bend at the hips. Watch me. Walk forward a little bit. Now watch me. More. Stick the butt out behind you. There. Now you've got clearance. Okay. let's add and go back and revisit. Go ahead and swing it, swing the bucket back. And we're gonna open, go ahead and swing it back. And let's open up a little bit more. There we go. Open up. Nice. Open up. Open up. Open up. What are we putting in play here? These are actually outstanding range swings. So there's a huge difference between what defines a good golf course swing and what defines a good range swing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the same thing. We have rhythm. We have the body driving the arms, so we get this look of effortless power. We get this look of just rhythmic effortlessness, which is absolutely beautiful to watch. We get to work on all the angles. We get to work on the right divot location. There's just so many fundamentals working here. Okay, first with this, Walt, show me more of that. Bowing with the butt back. Bow way over. Now get your thumb on. And you'll kick in and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now how pure did that sound and feel? I mean, you just absolutely hit that right on the button. And that's what we really like about this is what people who, like Walt tends to do, a lot of people out there, especially as we get older, we try for effort.
Yes.
And what happens is we mishit the ball so much and the ball comes up short.
Right.
And our answer logically is usually, well, I got to swing harder to get my 7-iron to 150.
Right.
Because you don't realize how much you're missing from the mishit.
Right.
So what we're doing here is we're doing some training that's also resulting in really centered strikes.
Right.
And when you can get centered strikes, all of a sudden the pressure's off
Right. for
you to have to swing hard, because that ball is flying pretty damn close to 100 yards with the pitching wedge, which is all you kind of need it to go.
Yeah.
110 for his pitching wedge is kind of icing on the cake,
Right.
but we really want a good range at 100 yards would probably be just fine.
Right.
As long as it's in the sweet spot and it's rhythmic and it can be repeated over and over and over again, which has probably been Walt's weakness over the years. He's been a little bit of a morning star, so he's able to shine really brightly on certain shots, but then be very poor on others. Okay, let's start over again. Shake it out. Okay, you can put your thumb on there right now, and now you can just bow sharper. And now rhythm. And boy, another one just dead in the center. Switching to a slightly longer club, people expect, well, I got to swing harder now because it's got to go X distance, and that's the trap. So the goal here is, again, just to la 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 la, and let this club just come down with gravity, and don't try to add anything more than what you were doing with the pitching wedge. Wait a minute, start over, stand up tall, put the club out in front of you. Put it up here, bring it up, put your thumb right on there. Put your right thumb on there, and now it's crazy glued. Now, deep bow with the hip, deep bow. Now we go rhythm, and right post and left post. So dead on line again. All right, so now you got to bow, leave your thumb alone, and 1, 2, 3, wow, beautiful, Walt. So Walt's just drilling shots right at the flag almost every time now. So here's the dare. Now that you're feeling a little hot, you're feeling the rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Your arms are relaxed.
Right.
That's the thing about the bucket drill. You let your arm dangle from the shoulder socket, and let the weight of the bucket just pull on it, and it starts to get you in the habit of letting your arm relax and get driven around the corner by the pivot, rather than trying to muscle it. And gives the whole swing a sense of muscle. Now stand up, yep, thumb first, glue it. Now watch this. Bow to the queen sharply. Get your thumb back on there, and now it's just rhythm. And 1, 2, 3, 1. Wow. So the thing about what Walt's doing now that he's historically not been good at, as most of you who are watching, is Walt has had a hard time hitting 3 shots in a row that look the same, especially on the course. He'd get these really awesome ones, but then he can't seem to find the consistency. But here now, every shot is starting to look like an identical copy to each other. And that is, again, because we're starting from the ground up, and we're just building back out our fundamentals and getting back to the proper pivot, allowing the torso to swing the arms like it's a clock, like the left arm is going around a clock. Okay, thumb on. Good. Leave it alone. Bowing sharp. One a little more wind up now. And super. Another thing you'll notice historically that Walt has had a tough time with is balance at the end of the swing.
Right.
A lot of falling over. Now you're facing the target. It's like textbook.
Yeah.
Facing the target, standing on the left foot in balance, actually standing there the entire flight of the ball.
Right. Yeah, I never did that before.
And what's the key to that is that the pivot is swinging back and the butt depth is staying back against the chair as you're rocking from foot to foot. And one thing we talked about yesterday in yesterday's video is how much a wide stance can keep you from getting all the way over. So you keep everything really basic. The feet can stay underneath your hips. Let's do one more, and what I want you to do is just, without adding effort, let's see if you can wind up the machine another hour or two without changing anything else. No effort, thumb on. Bowing more, a little bigger wind up, and super. So there's another one dead on line with a little draw. And now we're out to more of a regular 8-iron distance. That's terrific. All right, Walt, being very brave, has volunteered to show for you the worst club in his bag, which I don't think will shock many people. It might be your worst club in your bag too. In fact, it is for a lot of seniors. Worst club in their bag is the fairway wood. Before we do it, let's go back and review get the feel of it again. Off of this nice Zoysia style mat, that 3-wood should be nice and sweepy. Let's see if we can bring that across. And little swings, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and narrow up the feet a bit. It's a little too wide. And we have to bow enough so that you have some clearance in front of your knees. The bucket should be lining up over your toes.
It is.
Good. And rotate and rotate open more. Rotate, rotate. Oh, that's right. Rotate. And let the body swing the arms. Terrific. That's awesome. Okay, let's give it a shot. Now, here's another trap to fall into. When you're on the driving range, again, it's not the golf course. Let's say that normally on the golf course, you would expect to maybe roll this out to 200 yards.
Right.
Sound about fair if you hit a good one?
Yeah.
That's the trap.
Yeah.
The worst club in your bag, let's just start with that little pitching wedge swing.
Okay.
And practice meeting it square and making 2 or 3 shots in a row look the same.
Okay.
And then we can always start building the speed gradually back into it. But when it's your worst club in the bag and you really have no confidence in it, revisit your fundamentals of grip and stance and pivot, distance from the ball, ball position. We'll get this ball position up off the heel. Okay, stay right there. And what I'm going to do is just center you, but I need you to stick your rump out a little bit sharper. Okay, let me take a look at that real quick. Okay, thumb on, bowing, and 1, 2, 3. Wow, listen to that sound. And accidentally, Walt has knocked one out there on probably 185 with the roll. Hold on a second here. All right, so we'll get the box on you. And again, just because we got the box on you, here's another trap. Yeah, golf is full of traps, isn't it?
It is.
It's a trap game. So, just because you're now being monitored, does that mean you're going to start going for it?
Oh yeah.
So we're still at the. See, we'll get our measurement here, right at the flag. Right between the 2 palm trees there, okay? All right, we got our fairway set. I want you to let's start over, get the thumb on and leave it alone. Now it's like this, bowing to the queen, And then you're going to execute a pivot. And, Okay, it's a good solid strike again. We just have the face a little too shut. Interestingly, though, you'll be interested to know, now, for everybody watching, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was your effort level there?
6.
6?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
So you added a little bit beyond gravity,
more,
a little bit. It looked really smooth and easy to me. So the ball is out to 190 already.
Wow.
And that was kind of a low hook a little bit. It might have gone 200 or more with a good solid hit. Okay, so let's make sure the face doesn't close on the follow through. Thumb on for precise control. Get it right on that logo. Right, hey, don't let it hang on. There we go, right on the logo. And beautiful, dead straight. Right, look, you split the palm trees right down a 5-yard fairway. That's fantastic. All right, so that one we've got about 175 because you just mishit it a little low. But see, what people would need to know, if you're challenged for clubhead speed, these are half swings, and they're gentle half swings, and you're at 81 miles an hour already on a 3-wood. And so you think, boy, you're making 80 miles an hour look fantastic. I know some guys your age that would love to get 70 miles an hour on a driver. They're unable to get 160, 70 yards, and here you are swinging 80. It's all in this wrecking ball pivot and the tempo. It's allowing you to hit the sweet spot and get all that distance going. It's not necessarily effort that gets the ball out there. It's just good rhythmic swings. All right, let's review. Let's review that exit again. Make sure that you're not closing the club too much. Leave that thumb alone now, and then we're going to come through that way more. So the toe is just getting turned over a bit too much on these. That's still too much. Still too much. Do it one more time. More open until we get that thing. There we go. All right. Start at the top. Thumb on. Bow to the queen. Oh, beauty. So that sounded like you hit it right on the button. Still in the air.
Still in the toe, I think.
Still in the air. So by lengthening out the windup a little more, you jumped up to 83 miles an hour. Fantastic. And let's see, we've got a shot there of right around 200 yards. So very little effort, only a 3/4 swing. And still you ended up stayed in the fairway, a little to the right, but stayed in the fairway. And went just about 200 yards there. So that's all we need, right, is a steady diet of that swing. We don't really need any more. Bowing, thumb on. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So it looked like you went for a little bit more.
Went for more and then,
So just for people at home, that was 87 miles an hour.
Okay.
So this is another exercise. It's a necessary exercise at some point that you stretch it. Let's address one more idea and issue. I can see you're having a real bad time of right now. Let me give you a stat there. Your swing plane on that one was 13 degrees to the left. So Walt still falls back a little bit into the outside in. So remember what that's going to look like. We'll set our bucket down and add the bucket to this, and don't move. Let's also add, and this is just a great exercise to get you on the inside a little bit more. Okay, so you can add a club down at about that angle, or a alignment stick. Okay, and so how are you going to respond to this and make this easier? What you're going to do is you right down the track, but you got to set your chest even with the track, don't you? Good. Now softly. And oh, beauty. Well, that was struck well.
Split the trip off.
So there you're at a 0-degree club path. Instead of outside in, you were just dead square. And we're right at 200 yards again. But this time it had a little bit of a draw, and it was from the inside. So here's the key to this. We've been working on this lately. Stick your butt rump out a little bit more, and what we're going to try to do here, rump back more, stick it into the chair more, and bow. What we're doing is we're going to try to feel like the sternum is parallel to the stick on the ground. So I could even make the stick on the ground a little bit crazier, huh? Now, I guarantee you feel like you're way off,
Oh, yeah.
like down that right sign line in right field. Now get your thumb on as you do it. Thumb on, butt back bow, and stay parallel. Now just swing the pendulum, and now that'll play, won't it?
Yep.
So you see how we've built this we built it up. We started with our pivot drill. We worked our way through the bag,
Right.
but getting that effortless speed and power, and then say, well, we noticed that it's not really on the right path and swing plane that we want, so let's practice this same rhythm. But the core of all of this is still and right post and left post in rhythm.
Right.
And that just kind of operates the whole thing, and it takes all the pressure out of the arms.
Right.
You got this big wrecking ball now, bam, that is going to turn your torso and make your arms fast. You don't have to feel like you're adding to it. It's like you're driving your car downhill.
Right. Right.
You're already above the speed limit, you just coast.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're doing here. Instead of driving uphill where you feel like you really have to gun it to get to the speed limit. It's kind of what we're doing here. So let's do a couple more and then return to the club, and now rhythm, and okay. So that's what we call a really good bad shot, right?
Yeah,
However, the ball's right down the middle of the fairway. You're still at 189 yards on that shot, even though it's a little bit of a low burner.
Yeah.
How bad does that hurt your score?
Not at all.
Not at all, right. Okay, thumb on, start over. Thumb on, turn and face, and bow a lot. And rhythm, and good one. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, super. So that ball was mashed, dead straight, right through the palm trees. And that one we got to, still going, 209 yards. So now we can do a little bit of showing off here. Now by showing off, I don't want you to show off by trying to pull the club down into the ball, Walt.
Yeah.
You know how we show off is we draw it back a little farther, wind up a little bigger, and maybe you can even wind up about 10% more aggressively too. And let's just see if we can't get this club head speed up a little bit more. And wind up and go. All right, good for you. Okay, 85 miles an hour. My dare to you is to wind up aggressive, drive the hips. So it's like this now. It's like this. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A little more aggressive speed with the pivot. You're just speeding up that pendulum. Big wind up. Hey, now that's the future.
I cocked the wrist on that.
Hit it on the button, still in the air. All right, Walt, you got that one all the way out to 225. With the face angle was 0 degrees, the launch direction was 0 degrees, and the spin axis was 0 degrees. So the ball essentially just flew on a clothesline out to 225 yards. Yeah, you know, I'm 53 now, but I have some students that are older than me, and they're knocking it out there pretty good. And again, Walt has not had a lot of chance to practice lately, and so we're going back, and his fundamentals were starting to get a little bit frayed around the edges. So we're going back and we're just revisiting our fundamental stuff today and making sure that the basis of the swing is really good. The fundamentals are really solid, and they're leading us to really good motion.